Talk Business Arkansas is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau, the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce and Associated Industries of Arkansas, the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, Noble Strategies, the Arkansas Healthcare Association, and Delta Trust and Bank.
Joining me now is Steve Brawner. He's a Talk Business contributor. He also provides columns for Stevens Media on politics. Great to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Your assessment of the Cotton Pryor race. We're a full weekend. Is it a toss-up today? Do you see one candidate with a particular advantage over the other? How do you assess it?
The national pundits seem to kind of call it a toss-up. You got to think that Cotton has an advantage. Just living here in Arkansas, you've seen what the Republicans have done over the past couple of election cycles. The momentum is so clearly in the Republicans' favor, so you got to think that Cotton would have an advantage. But Pryor is a incumbent, and he's fixing to start. You know, he's been on the defensive the whole time, and he's going to start going on the offensive. So we'll have to wait and see.
This race did not wait and did not have its normal pleasantries that you usually have in a lot of races where somebody welcomes the other person into the field. We saw Pryor running ads against Tom Cotton really the day before he even got into the race. Cotton wasted no time going after Pryor immediately, even in his announcement speech and in the days following. Did that surprise you?
The stakes are high. It always surprises me because they live in a different world than we do. I don't see how you say, you know, Tom, I need help with this vote in the House on getting some funding. And by the way, I don't appreciate what you said about me the other day. But, you know, Cotton's been in the race for so long anyway. This has been going on this has been the worst kept secret in Arkansas for weeks and weeks and weeks. So the campaign started a long time ago.
Well, you know,
actually.
the joke was that Tom Cotton was running for the Senate when he was running for Congress.
Yeah.
I mean, this may be 2 to 3 years in the making even.
Well, he's got a lot of support. So, from people who have the money to support him.
You wrote in a recent column that Arkansas will be at or near the center of the political universe in 2014. What do you mean by that?
Well, right now the Senate is 54-46 Democrats. It'll go to 55 when New Jersey has their special election. So Republicans will have to pick up 6 Senate seats in order to take a majority, which seems like a lot, but they won 6 Senate seats in the last midterm election. President Obama won. The Democrats won 8 seats in 2008. The Republicans won 9 seats. They gained 9 seats in 1994 during President Clinton's first midterm election. So it's very doable for Republicans to take the Senate back. That being the case, Arkansas is a cheap state to win compared to California or Texas or New York.
$1 million gets you pretty far in Arkansas.
You can do a lot of advertising in Arkansas. Obviously, the numbers are trending. This is a red state that's getting redder. And so, you know, Pryor is seen as vulnerable. So, and Cotton is the darling of some of these big financing groups, Club for Growth, Senate Conservatives Fund. Mm-hmm. They are pouring money into this race. And so, you can see that Arkansas really, you know, we escaped all this in the presidential election because everybody knew that Romney was going to win Arkansas, and we had no other big races. But this time we're going to be the center.
Yeah, the 4 states kind of that I see on the map, if you talk to a lot of folks at the national level, are Arkansas, Alaska, Louisiana, North Carolina. Those are 4 that are definitely in play. I think those are 4 states where we're going to see a lot of potential action, Arkansas being one of them. All right, let's take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and talk about what's happening in the 4th Congressional District because there were some moves this past week. I'm with Steve Brawner. He is a Talk Business contributor. He writes for Stevens Media. We're back right after this.
Farm Bureau helps protect its members in more ways than you might think. They've always been the voice of agriculture in Arkansas, working on behalf of folks like me when nobody else would. And Farm Bureau stands for the values that Arkansas families care about. They've protected my right to farm and make a living, which helps everybody who likes food on the table. You know what they say, Arkansas counts on agriculture, and agriculture counts on Farm Bureau.
The Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce and Associated Industries of Arkansas. The State Chamber AIA is the leading voice for business at the state capitol and serves as the primary business advocate on all issues affecting Arkansas employers. Our mission is to promote a pro-business, free enterprise agenda and prevent anti-business legislation, regulations, and rules. Now more than ever, business matters. Learn more at arkansasstatechamber.com.
I was looking for a bank that could best protect my finances.
This shared my passion for my business's potential.
A bank that offered investment expertise,
lending support,
insurance guidance.
A bank that delivered full financial support.
That's how I found True Balance.
True Balance.
From my bank.
From my bank.
Delta Trust and Bank, the expertise to meet all your financial needs.
One of the real advantages of electric cooperatives membership is having a voice in our state's energy future.
Not a week goes by without important energy issues making headlines. These are issues that need to be discussed. And you should know that as policies are being developed, the cooperatives are looking out for our members, advocating what's best for you.
We are your friends and neighbors.
We are your local electric company.
The electric cooperatives.
We are Arkansas.
East Harding Construction. East Harding has provided client-focused construction services for commercial construction projects in Arkansas since 1974. Want your next project delivered safely, on budget, and on schedule by an Arkansas-based company you can trust? Visit www.eastharding.com or call Van Tilbury, President and CEO, at 501-661-1646. East Harding, client-focused construction.
And we are back with Steve Brawner. He writes for Stevens Media, and he is a top business contributor. We're talking politics, Steve. This week we've seen in the 4th Congressional District that was vacated by Cotton's move to run for the U.S. Senate, you got Bruce Westerman and Mark Darr announced in a GOP primary for the 4th Congressional District. Perhaps Beth Ann Rankin still gets in too. She has not closed the door on that. Let's talk about Westerman and Darr. What do you see as their strengths? What's Westerman's strengths in the district? What's Darr's strengths in terms of potential congressional candidate?
Well, Westerman's strength is, number one, he was the majority leader in the House. And so, he has a lot of connections, a lot of contacts. He's been at the center of actual governing. He lives in Garland County and his family's been there for generations. Garland County is probably the most important county in the 4th District. It
represents about a sixth of the population, I think.
And had about 20% of the voters in the last election. It's also in the center, geographically, of a sprawling county. So that's Westerman's advantages. Darr's advantages, he's been lieutenant governor. You don't offend anybody, when you're lieutenant governor. You can just sign bills, about gun rights, and that's all you got to do. Make a few speeches, so he hasn't offended anybody. Another thing, and this is already the issue. It's already the issue. Darr brought it up in his remarks about that Westerman was at least involved in the beginning in the private option process of trying to come up with a solution to the problem with the Medicaid private option in the past session. Now, Westerman ended up voting against it. And spoke against it. But in the beginning, he at least was involved in negotiations. He says, I was an involved legislator. I was trying to solve the problem. But even in his announcement speech, he was defending that vote. So I think early on, that race is going to come down to, who can be the most against Obamacare.
But hasn't Darr said that he would have signed the private option into law if he had been governor? I think he said that at one point in time, did he not?
You've got me on that one. I don't remember him saying that. He's not saying it now. He even brought it up, in his announcement that about Westerman voting for that or participating in that process. He called another bill that Westerman brought up in replacement of that. He called it a CYA bill. Actually used that. From the podium.
Terminology, yeah.
So,
and I may stand corrected. He may not have said that. It seems like I did read that somewhere about Darr. But he was also very adamant in opposing Obamacare, joined the legal brief that was going on with some other states to make sure that his opposition to the federal health care law was known.
And did it personally. It was his own. He was suing personally, as a business owner and as an Arkansan. So he's been very much against it.
So let's look at this from the Democrats' perspective. Right now, Janice Percival is the only announced Democratic candidate in the 4th Congressional District. I see this as a potentially competitive race, though, between Republicans and Democrats in the 4th Congressional District with an open seat, in the very fact that Mike Ross represented the 4th Congressional District, and as the now Democratic gubernatorial nominee, it's just a formality at this point, he's going to be turning every Democratic vote he can get out of the 4th District that he represented and did very well in 2010 in that GOP tidal wave year. Why do you think the Democrats can't find somebody strong to run for this seat?
Well, they can't find strong people to run for any seats lately. They should have been competitive in the 2nd District last time. They were not, or they didn't field a competitive candidate. No offense to Herb Rule, but he was not someone who was really in a position to beat Tim Griffin. The 4th District does have a little bit of a Republican history. Jay Dickey represented it for a number of terms. It's rural and it's huge. And I guess there just isn't, there just hasn't been enough Democrats to come. And it's trending like everything else toward the Republicans. So I guess just hasn't been anybody step forward at this point.
State Senator Bobby Pierce from South Central Arkansas is rumored to be considering running in that. So we may see a potentially stronger Democratic candidate get in there. All right, last question for you. What are you most looking forward to in the 2014 election cycle? Is it the governor's race, the Senate race, or something else?
Well, the cynical answer would be the day after the election. But I think the governor's race will be really interesting because that's one where the Democrats really can stem the tidal wave. The Senate seat race also is interesting because you've got there is a real difference in the way that the two men, not only Cotton and Pryor, not only believe but also in their approaches. Cotton is a very aggressive guy. Pryor is more of a conciliatory. So that will be interesting. And then I hate to hedge my bets here, but the 4th is also interesting because we have a real. This may be the most aggressive Republican primary we have seen since Sheffield Nelson versus Tommy Robinson for governor back in 20 years ago.
1990, yeah.
So this will be these two have already Dar and Westerman have already kind of taken off the gloves a little bit, and they're probably going to go after each other.
It's going to be fun. We still got 14 or 15 months to go. All right. He's Steve Brawner, top business contributor with Stevens Media also. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
All right, and that is our Talk Business update for today. Thanks for watching. You can keep up with the latest in business and politics at talkbusinessarkansas.com. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Talk Business Arkansas is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau, the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce and Associated Industries of Arkansas, the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, Noble Strategies, the Arkansas Healthcare Association, and Delta Trust and Bank.